Hi Capricorn and Capricorn Rising, this is your September 2016 forecast. So September is quite a wild month astrologically speaking. We've got two eclipses, a solar eclipse on the 1st of September and a lunar eclipse on the 16th of September. Mercury is retrograde from the 30th of August to the 22nd of September. Jupiter is moving from Virgo into Libra, something which happens once a year. Jupiter changes signs and it's moving into your 10th house of career, which is going to show up as a lot of opportunities for growth and expansion and recognition professionally speaking. So the equinox is on the 22nd of September, which depending on where you are in the world is the start of spring or autumn. So as you can see from what's happening in the sky, there's a lot of change happening. Now eclipses can often purge hidden things. You know, the truth comes to light, or we see people as they really are, or events have a way of showing us what's really going on. So they can kind of connect us in reality, but often with a stick rather than with a carrot. So changes can be rather accelerated at this time, and unexpected things bring about new growth and opportunity, or at least take us into unfamiliar terrain. So let's look at where these things are happening in your chart this month. So the solar eclipse on the 1st of September is in your 9th house. This is also where Mercury is retrograde. So the 9th house has to do with travel, learning, opportunities for education, higher education, and it's also a house that pertains to legal matters. So with Mercury retrograde in this house, you'll definitely want to go through any travel plans or itineraries very carefully, make sure that there's no misunderstandings. You can also anticipate some delays. If you've got paperwork pertaining to studies or, like I said, legal matters, you also want to go through them very carefully and proofread your work if you're thinking about publishing something. So really focus on getting your affairs in order insofar as possible to anticipate any possible mishaps which can happen when Mercury is retrograde. So a solar eclipse is essentially a very potent and charged new moon. So the moon is blocking the light of the sun, and it does sow the seeds for new beginnings. So you may at this time start making plans to study or travel or develop in those areas. You know, it's also going to show a bit of a hankering to get beyond mundane events. So where routine has tied you down or where things are feeling dull and monotonous, that solar eclipse in your 9th house is going to make you want to do something more meaningful, to do something adventurous, something significant. So it's how you expand the mind. So any opportunities for travel or learning which can help you grow experientially are things that might begin to develop from the solar eclipse. So there is a difficult square between the sun and the moon and Saturn in your 12th house, which can show some restrictions, of probably the mundane kind. So dealing with a bit of isolation or perhaps restricted budgets and, difficulty with restricted circumstances. Things that will hopefully shift, especially when Jupiter moves into your 10th house. And there's also difficult aspects with Neptune, which can show some setbacks with regards to miscommunications or misunderstandings. And especially with Mercury retrograde, you'll really want to check all your communications this month very carefully. Make sure that you're being understood. Make sure that you're not exhausting yourself with, just general busyness. So try and tone down a little bit if you can, because you may find a flurry of activity. Okay, so let's go through the month day by day. So, like I said, the solar eclipse is happening on the 1st of September, sowing the seeds of new beginnings in the house of travel, learning, and broadening the mind. So, like I said, an opportunity to develop an idea around publishing or travel that will sow the seeds for lots of personal growth. On the 2nd, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter in the 9th, and this will be a good time to consolidate those plans. Jupiter will give you a breadth of vision and Mercury will help make you detailed focus. So to prevent mishaps this month, this is the time to use this aspect to go over all the details, make sure your itinerary is in order, make sure you've planned as much as you can around travel and learning affairs. On the 7th of September, the Sun will trine Pluto from the 9th to the 1st house. This is a very potent and charged aspect. It's very energizing and productive. So this can show you taking initiative being very sure of yourself, with regards to something that will help broaden your mind and your experiences. So it could be an initiative to travel or an initiative to get something off the ground with regards to publishing or teaching. So utilize this aspect for its clarity and purpose, because you'll be feeling supercharged and energetic. On the 9th, this is when Jupiter moves into Libra. So in Virgo, Jupiter was a bit constricted by a difficult aspect with Saturn, whereas in Libra, it's going to be in a supportive aspect, so there's going to be a lot more scope for the beneficial aspects of Jupiter, which lead to growth and expansion and opportunity. And Capricorn is very blessed because Jupiter is moving into the 10th house, which is the house of career and professions. So you can really anticipate some more opportunities for professional development and recognition and job satisfaction. And in Libra, Jupiter is very social, so some of that could come about through social networking, and it will show up as cooperation in the workplace, so a very good time for professional achievement and recognitions. So on the 10th of September, we have Saturn in square with Neptune. This has been a rather odious aspect that's been with us most of 2016. And, its effects will start to peter out now, which is really a great thing because it's been very dissipating energetically. There's been a lot of restrictions and delays. It's also spawned a lot of confusion and self-doubt. And, the sort of confusion and self-doubt that breed from restricted circumstances, unnecessary obstacles, red tape, and just confusion and uncertainty. So it'll be lovely that this aspect is finally on its way. So on the 11th of September, Venus squares Pluto from your 10th to your 1st house. So in combination, these planets can show a bit of a power struggle. People behaving in a pushy manner, or a domineering manner. And so just be aware of this because this could rear its head professionally speaking. So just be prepared for a bit of a, like I said, power struggle in the workplace potentially. On the 12th, Mercury squares Mars, and Mercury and Mars together in difficult aspect can show a bit of an attitude of defiance. You may be feeling very opinionated, very angry, very incensed, or willing to just be very on the offensive with regards to your ideas and opinions. So you may find yourself lashing out at this time, but it's also a very constructive aspect for getting things done and solving problems, so perhaps you can apply it like that. So on the 16th, we have the full moon eclipse, and this is happening in your 3rd house. So with the full moon, and particularly with an eclipse, which is going to heighten the effects of the full moon, you may find yourself feeling emotionally a bit overwhelmed at this time. So emotions can boil up and froth over and spill into different areas of our life. And in the 3rd house, this has to do with day-to-day affairs, routine communications, contracts, and possibly siblings and neighbors. So you may find yourself being pretty exhausted because there's been a flurry of activity in day-to-day affairs. Communications are exhausting and overwhelming. You may find that you butt heads with a neighbor or a sibling or someone in your close immediate environment, especially because there are difficult aspects with Mars during this eclipse. So this again can excite anger and irritability and insensitivity. So you may find yourself behaving in this way towards nearest and dearest, or you may find them behaving that way to you. But either way, emotions are pretty charged at this full moon. So, like I said, take some time out from the busyness, make sure your communications and contracts are as clear as you can make them. And like I said, and you can expect to feel perhaps a little bit exhausted with day-to-day affairs right about now. On the 17th, Mars will trine Uranus from your 12th to your 4th. This can be because the 12th house is involved. Mars can show something that you need to cut out of your life at this time. Things that you need to release, things that are no longer serving you, things that will ultimately be constructive for you and help you feel more settled and established, and that you're better off without. This is also a theme that comes up with eclipses, what we need to eliminate from our life in order to make room for the new. So on the 18th and 19th, we've got some good social aspects. Venus opposes Uranus, and Venus sextiles Mars. So this is a good time to try something new. Mars and Venus together are good for chemistry and social cooperation. So if you're single, this is good for dating, and if other than that, it's also just good for connecting with people, cooperation and teamwork, and trying something new. Between the 20th and the 23rd, Mercury will trine Pluto. So this involves your houses of career and self. So this is going to have your ideas having a real punch. This is also just prior to Mercury going direct. So if you've been working on something and polishing up a project, this aspect will help you perfect it. So good for presentation, good for pulling things together, good for proofreading, good for, like I said, just, the spit and polish to, tie something together. And this is especially going to be useful because Mercury is now going to go direct. So it's good for launching business and new business and communications, generally speaking. So if there's something that you want to get off the ground, wait for Mercury to speed up a little bit and make use of the following aspect, which is going to be when the Sun moves into Libra and conjuncts Jupiter on the 26th to launch something. So the Sun and Jupiter will be in your 10th house, so this is going to be a great day for growth from business, the potential to profit from business. It's going to be good for career recognition. So very good aspect if you want to publish, if you want to, like I said, take something that you've been working on and promote or present it. This is a very favorable conjunction for luck and opportunity in the area of career. So the month concludes with a new moon in Libra, and like I said, a month of sweeping changes with the eclipses. Make sure you take it easy. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for listening.